So, continuing our backstory. Before we went on the infamous trip to Bendigo, I'd already decided it was time to change the car. I had a VW Golf R, which whilst I loved that car, I had it for nearly 5 years, it was actually becoming more apparent that the harsh ride was uncomfortable for me and in particular for Jill. So I decided to make a change. I looked around at various SUV vehicles. I actually wanted a car that I could attach a bike rack to and take my electric bike around. But there weren't that many cars available in June last year because of the COVID crisis. There was a Land Rover dealership in Shepperton and I quite fancied looking at the Land Rover, and very fortunately they actually had one in the showroom, a new one. There were only 4 Land Rovers in the entirety of Australia and the dealership in Shepperton had one of them. This is it. So after various test rides and test drives, I decided this was the best car and I quite fancied the Land Rover, so made the purchase. And off to Bendigo we went in the new Land Rover. As far as I was concerned, that was going to be the extent of how I would use the Land Rover, driving to hotels and motels around Australia eventually, until Jill's infamous change of mind. Do you want the blue pill or the red pill? If you take the red pill, you can never go back. So I chose the red pill and I entered an alternative universe of caravanning and towing and four-wheel drive and GVM and GCM and bull weight and tear and caravan legislation and weights and upgrades and tyres and wheels and the whole shebang. I have to tell you, it's very confusing for a novice like me. It's even more confusing because unfortunately there's a whole raft of conflicting information out there on the internet. But thanks to some fabulous Facebook groups that we joined, I was actually able to make sense of most of it. And it turns out that the Land Rover Discovery is one of the best towing vehicles on the market. So actually it made the choice of caravan relatively easy for us because the Land Rover can more or less tow anything within reason. So I'll let Jill tell you how we came to the decision on the Gator X.
All my life I've taken the blue pill. This time I chose the red, so it's down the rabbit hole I go. We went to look at caravans. Pete talked to the salespeople, found out as much as he could, picked their brains as he does, and I went around every single caravan on the forecourt that was unlocked, in and out, all the way around. And when I got back to them, if they were still talking, I went back again. And if they were still talking, I go round again, a third time, until they'd finished. It helped dramatically, actually, surprisingly. That feeling of near panic was slowly disappearing. I had successfully desensitised myself. Things could only get better from here. So what were we looking for? Well, I was looking for heating, cooling, kitchen, ensuite, shower room and a washer. Pete were looking for other things, but he'll tell you about that. The JB Gator X seemed to fit the bill. And believe it or not, there was one available. Another miracle.
Okay, so that's the hitch up done. We're just about to set off now on the first part of our January journey. I'm going to drive all the way through to St Arnaud, which will probably take me about 4.5 hours. with a few coffee stops, and then we stop in there for 2 or 3 nights, and then on to Horsham further west. So yeah, that's all for now, and we'll catch up with you later.
Well, we arrived in St Arnaud today. I made a couple of attempts to park the caravan through no fault of Pete's. He parked perfectly, and then we had to move it because we weren't near the standpipe. So we tried again. Anyway, we're all parked up now. We're just waiting for the sunset, and we're just looking over the township. Looks quite interesting. I look forward to going tomorrow to have a look round.
So here we are at the caravan park in St Arnaud. It's about 8 o'clock at night and it's still 31 degrees, so yeah, a very warm night. I think they'll have the air conditioning on all night long. It was took us about 4.5 hours to drive from Wimmera with 2 or 3 coffee stops. But yeah, other than that it was reasonably easy. As Jill said earlier, I had to reverse the caravan in twice. The first time because I reversed it too far away from the standpipe. I only have a 15-metre hose and we needed a 30-metre hose. So after I'd set everything up, unhooked it and levelled the caravan and got everything out, got the awning out and the chairs out, I had to pack it all away again and do it all again, but about 10 yards further across this time round. Anyhow, we did it, but boy, it was hot and hard work. Anyhow,
Too hot to do it twice.
Too hot to do it twice. We've had 2 lots of ice cream, so it shouldn't be so bad.
This is Pebble Church. It was active in 2000 up to 2019. I'll have to check on that. I'm not sure. So I've joined Pete at the outer side of the fence, and he's viewing it from the side where hopefully he can get the storm in behind it, I think. So maybe you won't be able to hear my voice in a bit when the thunder starts, which might be a blessing. Oh, the lightning's starting already. It still looks in very good condition, this church, to say it's very old. We're still hoping for some dramatic skylines to appear over the building. I'm in my element, trees and buildings. Trees and buildings, my favourite subjects to photograph. Oh, rain's coming now. We just made it back to the car in time. Well, not quite, we'll let through. Wonderful thunderstorm there, wonderful roll of thunder. It's evening just before sunset and we're going up to a viewing point just above the campsite, and I couldn't resist getting the tree, this beautiful tree. Anyway, we're going up above the sports oval. There's nothing much around here, but a good viewing point for the sunset apparently. Sunset won't be long now.
So this is Charlton. It's about a 45-minute drive from St Arnaud. It's only a small town, but very nicely kept. Charlton Mechanics Institute, Charlton Gold and Grains Museum. All these places are suffering because of COVID restrictions, COVID lockdowns. The museum is only open for 4 hours on a Sunday, it would appear.
So here we are in Charlton. We found some wall murals. Don't know if there are any more. Murals, not murals. We're just going to walk down the town street, main street. It's not very long. Looks to be quite nice though. There's the old Rex Theatre, which looks like it's a cinema, but not much activity there at the moment. No films advertised. We've just arrived in Donald and this is what we've been greeted by. It's like a little museum, an outside museum with train carriages. That one, the first one looks like it's for livestock, the second for oil, third for oil. Explosives, interesting. Presumably for the mining. Oh, this is a playground. go up into the engine room, I think, unless they've locked that one off. They've made an old carriage into toilets. This would be fun for Liam. Not far off Avoca now. We'll be coming into it soon. This is Avoca, a typical country town. There's some silo art here. We'll probably pop down to have a look at those later.
So this is the famous Avoca Hotel. Apparently award-winning food and drinks. So this is Layla's Pharmacy, apparently. It's been operating on this site since 1854. Doesn't look like a pharmacy to me now. But maybe it is. I think it's more skin creams and things like that. So this is obviously Avoca War Memorial, Avoca Soldiers Memorial. So it's right in the middle of the new pedestrianised area. So they've obviously done a good job trying hard to make this an attraction for the town. So this is the Victoria Hotel, obviously still operational as a pub. And this old building, old frontage, is the Victoria Hotel Bistro. So we've arrived at Horsham, Horsham Riverside Caravan Park, and behind us is Horsham River. It's the Wimmera River, I believe. It was quite an easy trip over from St Arnaud. It took us about 2 hours, but for some reason Apple decided to take us on some very strange sea roads. But yeah, it was a great trip, very easy, no problems hitching up. The only problem we've got is that it's bloody hot here. A bit too hot for Joe. What do you think, Joe?
Much too hot for me, yes.
So we're having to stay indoors in the late afternoon and evening with the air conditioning on.
We usually try to go out in the morning when it's not hotted up too much.
Not hotted up, I think she means heated up, but yeah.
Hotted up, it's hot. Right, we're just about to set off on the Pinnacles Walk here at Hall's Gap. I think it'll take about an hour. So we've stocked up with some drinks and things, have a break at the top and then come back. So we'll see how we go.
So this is the pinnacle of the Pinnacles Walk. It took us a bit longer than we anticipated, and it certainly felt to be harder than when we did it 12 years ago. But anyhow, we've made it. Jill's just hoping there will be an ice cream shop and a coffee shop at the top here. I'll spin round and see if she's right. Damn, coffee shop must be closed. Alright, very windy up here, as you might imagine. We're at the top of the Grampian. Sorry about the camera in the way. I'm not entirely sure what's the best way of doing this without. Well, anyhow, look. I'll have to think about a better way of doing that for future videos, but for now, this is as good as it gets. Oh well, what have you got to say, Joe? We made it.
We made it, yeah.
It was tougher than we thought it would be, but anyhow, we made it.
We knew it'd be tough, we've been here before.
Yeah. Alright, we're about to be joined by some other people, so we'll see you back down there. Well, that was a long and fairly arduous walk. This is the third time we've been up to the pinnacle in the Grampians in Hall's Gap. I suspect that will be the last, but at least we did it. There's nothing better than when you've actually done something that you thought you may not be able to do. But anyhow, here's the car park. Here's our car.
Not many cars left.
No, everybody's gone home. I think now might be the case of having a drink and then down into town for an ice cream. And if I was a drinking man, I'd have a cold beer, but I'm not. We'll see you later. Well, we've come for a day trip to Stawell. Another beautiful day, sunny day, blue sky, 28 degrees. So not too hot yet. It may do later in the afternoon. So neither of us ever been to Stawell before. It's a very typical country town. This is the town hall. So this is the Citadel Memorial. You can see the Grampians in the background, and you can see Jill in the foreground. Salvation Army Citadel, built in 1934. I suspect it's not being used as a Salvation Army Citadel any longer. In fact, I don't think it's being used at all. Town Hall, Hotel, Bar and Bistro. So right opposite, the other side of the road to the Town Hall. Again, this doesn't look like it's been used for many years. What a shame. So this is the Post Office Arcade, and just across the road is the very grand old Post Office building. They always have these fabulous buildings for post offices in the country towns. So this is great. This is a little alleyway through the main shopping centre, and it's an art exhibition, photography exhibition. A number of different photographers have got their prints on the wall here. It's a great little place. All the way up on one side and all the way down on the other side. So Jill's making a note of one of the lakes that's on the exhibition, and I think we're going to go and have a look at it. This is the Pioneer Memorial, the Gold Pioneers. So this is Stawell Gold Mine, one of the only working underground gold mines still in existence in this part of Australia. This is Cato Park Lake in Stawell. Man-made lake, obviously in a small local park. It's one of those hot days that makes you want to sit down all the time. Sister Rocks. We only found out about this place when we were in Stawell and just saw some information, and one of the photos in the photo exhibition on the main street had a photo of this place. It would be great to come and photograph this place at sunset, but what a strange place. So this is literally just off the Western Highway outside Stawell. And where on earth did all these rock formations come from? Dimboola, I think, Dimboola. Love this sign outside the post office. So it's 14,033 miles to the North Pole, 5,969 to the South Pole. doesn't say Barnumswick on it. Doesn't say Benella on it. It's a very small town centre strip, like literally 200 metres each side, and that's it. And probably in all these country towns, 50% of the places are closed down for lease, etc. So this is Dimboola Civic Square. There's a very modern library here with some great shade sails. Some artwork on the wall. Civic Precinct it's called. So this is the old Shire Hall. It was opened in April 1885. So it's been around a while. Another old building. Jill loves old buildings, photographing old buildings. You'll see her photographs on this video soon. This is an old TV electrical store. Hasn't been open for a long time by the looks of it. This is the Pink Lake. And it's pink. After our trip to the Pink Lake, we went back to Horsham. In truth, the entire trip had had a shadow cast over it by the death of our beloved mother-in-law and mother, so we decided the best course of action was to come home. And towards the end of the week, we would start planning our trip to Tasmania.
So see you next month.